Hello, my name's Mike Calvin. I'm joined by John Cross of the Daily Mirror, David Walker of the Sunday Mirror and Dom Fifield of the Guardian. Arsenal have their chance, Spurs have their problems. Things change so quickly in the Premier League. I'm probably asking the wrong person, but has the balance of power changed in North London?
You probably are. Arsenal have just been on a great run, almost by hook or by crook. They've been getting results. I don't think they deserved it at Liverpool, but still got that result. They were magnificent against Spurs, and of course they really kept the momentum going, even though they crashed out in glorious failure against Milan. Against that, contrast Tottenham. 3 defeats in a row for Harry Redknapp, unprecedented in his reign, and basically all of a sudden he's rearing up to questions. We saw him not like a question on Match of the Day, always fatal when a manager, I think, turns the question back on the interviewer. We're not really interested in what the interviewer says, Harry, thanks very much, we're interested in what you say, and then snaps again to the daily papers about is England speculation sort of causing disruption. Harry Redknapp will say no, but the results perhaps suggest otherwise at the moment. So I think Arsenal have got to try and take advantage.
And there is a sense that things are beginning to come together. If you look at it, Podolski's been sorted. Looks like Jan Vertonghen, the Ajax captain, might be going there. And obviously Mario Götze.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, finally Wenger's learnt to buy early, buy often and get the business done. Vertonghen was on Dutch TV last night confirming that he's in talks with Arsenal. He was over at the game for the Milan Champions League tie, and obviously what a great night for him to be a guest there. Stayed at the end and saw the standing ovation and the players being cheered off, and I think he's been wooed by that and the fact that Thomas Vermeulen's one of his best mates in football. So I think the Arsenal thing has got an impetus. The other thing that I think you easily forget, and Stato from the Gooners here will put me right, at a point in that derby the other week with Tottenham 2 up, Tottenham were online to go 13 points clear at that point. The gap was 10, and then it turned. You would have thought then it was going to be 13, and yet you look at how quickly it's turned around. And that whole impetus, and you can see the problems and the way that it's rocked Harry are there for everybody to spot.
And it could be down to just 1 point if Arsenal beat Newcastle. Likely to do so?
Yeah, on present form. I know Crossie's slightly doubtful and typical fan, I guess. But they should win this evening. Newcastle they've had a couple of home draws which have been a bit damaging in terms of their prospects in the top 5. And their away form has been patchy. They've conceded quite heavily at times recently. I think they may just be running out of steam now, naturally. But Arsenal, they've got the momentum at the right time. I mean, you know, it's almost implausible that they'd have a setback tonight, actually, given the way they've been playing recently. And they'll seize this opportunity. 1 point from Spurs, edge back 3 points, got away from Chelsea as well, which is significant. You know, they're finding form at the right time.
And Wenger is saying he will not sell Van Persie to Manchester City under any circumstances. That practical?
It's a big question, actually. He was really interesting on Friday. Not only did he say that, but he was also saying that he could write a book on last summer's transfer sagas, which probably goes back to the point that David was making, in that I think this season he's got to learn from his mistakes and buy early and do the business early. And I think the key to that will not only be to strengthen the squad and make sure they're more competitive next season, but perhaps more importantly from a fan's point of view, and season tickets are being renewed at the moment, is keeping Van Persie. You have to show the intent to be competitive, to keep Van Persie. It's not all about the money, I don't think, with Van Persie. And for my money, I think that Van Persie, if he was to leave, it wouldn't be to Man City. And I think it would be to perhaps go abroad to Real Madrid. But I think Arsenal are of the mind that if they do lose Van Persie, then it won't be this summer. They're prepared to even let him see out his contract. Because basically, if they sell him, I mean, lo and behold, I think it would be a riot if he went to Man City, I really do. I think it would be a terrible white flag of surrender. So they've got to make...
But that's a big financial hit to take, isn't it?
Well, I've always thought, and particularly in the down months of autumn and things weren't looking good for Arsenal, that how are they going to keep him? The impetus they're getting with these purchases, you know, if there's going to be 65 million, and we're talking, it's not just obviously Podolski and bringing people like Vertonghen in, he's got to add 2 more to that, and the view is looking at an experienced goalie. Yeah, Chesney's going to be his first choice, but he needs to supplement that. If those people came in and he spends 65 million on 1 or 2 fringe people, I honestly believe now I can see Van Persie staying, and I think the boy himself is very aware of his status at the club, the captaincy of that. His family's stable, he's got a beautiful house in Hampstead, and I just think there is a point now where if the club get it right this summer, Robin Van Persie will stay.
And as a final point, Dom, Gareth Bale. Now, he's been played out on the right. He does that occasionally for Wales as well. Seems a bit of a waste of talent. Is that symptomatic of the confusion that there is at Tottenham?
It may be symptomatic of the fact that their squad is a bit stretched with injuries at the moment. I mean, Harry's always liked the sort of fluid midfield, attacking three behind a main striker. And Gareth Bale himself has said he wanted to play more centrally and maybe try different positions, having excelled on the left. I mean, it was he apparently went to Harry and said, I want to try play more centrally, give me a go there. And he sees a future in that role. There was a piece written by Paul Hayward quite recently about comparing him to Cristiano Ronaldo potentially as a goal-scoring midfielder in a central role. So I think people may be looking at any sign of disruption at Tottenham at the moment. Gareth Bale will cause fullbacks problems whether he's playing on the right or the left, to be honest. I think there are other issues at Spurs at the moment. I think largely that's due to the fact their squad has been stretched.
Well, Bale's made of stern stuff, but are Spurs? I wonder. Thanks for joining us on lifesapitch.co.uk.